What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be working on a new car that I just got for work, and actually this channel was brand new. Thinking about just a lot of times I'm working on a vehicle or working on a house or whatever I'm working on, and I watched YouTube videos to figure out, hey, is this going to be an easy job or a difficult job? And so I'm starting this new channel, and it's going to be called Is It Really That Easy? Because sometimes I get into it and it's not as easy as they say, or as easy as they make it look. So I've been working on things for years. I work on my own vehicles as much as I can, work on the house as much as I can. And so I thought, I'm just gonna start documenting what I'm doing, just to share with you, was it as easy as they say? So today, I'm gonna be working on a 2011 Buick Regal. Just got a few things to put on it. Nothing major today. Just have a cabin air filter, light bulb. Have the trunk switch. It went bad on us, and we had to crawl in through the back seat and into the trunk to unlatch it. And then also have some key fobs that I'm gonna try to program. I bought these from Amazon. I'm just going to test them out. So everything that I got from Amazon. I'll put links in the description for you if you're like me and you just want something that's not super expensive and you want to do it yourself. I'll put these links in the description. So first thing is we got to get the truck out and get the car in. It's hot out there, so I'm closing the garage door. All right, the first thing I want to try is, because it takes a long time, is these key fobs. I got this key fob from Amazon. They come in a 2-pack. They also come with the blade, the key blade. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work or not. All right, let's take a real quick look at the car. All right, I bought this for a work car. It's a 2011. There's a few things that had going on with it. Nothing. It's had 128,000 miles on it. Needed cleaned out pretty bad. But one thing that was wrong was the trunk latch did not work. It's underneath of this. I'll show you how to fix that. The other thing is the inside was pretty dirty, so we're going to change that cabin air filter, and it's over there. But the first thing we're going to do is try out these key fobs. See if we can get those things to work with the way that they say to do it. So, and we'll try something a little bit new. The way they say to do this is to, like I was saying a moment ago, I bought this with the key fob with the blade, but I don't really want to use this blade. I don't want to use this as a key, because the car actually takes a key, a regular key, as you can see. So I don't really want to use this as my key. I don't want to be turning this whole thing. So this is basically just your emergency door unlock. So I'm going to try to not cut this. I'm going to see if this will work. So basically, I'm going to put my key fob on my key ring, just like a regular fob would be. And what they say is to put your key in, turn it to the on position without starting it, leave it for 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Do that 3 times. Once you do that 3 times and you turn it off, turn it back on for just a moment, back off and pull your key. Then it should be programmed. So then I'm going to try and see if it works. I'm going to see if these buttons will pair. I don't know if it will or not. Let's try it out and see. All right, so we got it started. You see we're at just 3 seconds, 7 seconds right now. So I'm going to turn the camera off and we'll come back in about 10 minutes. All right, we're just 5 minutes in right now. So you can see we're just down here at like 5 minutes, 50 seconds. So we still have several minutes. So I thought, let's just go ahead and take a look at the light. And eventually I know I'm going to probably have to replace this headlamp or headlight. But for right now, I'm just going to replace the bulb. There's the bulb, ordered that from Amazon. And this is where it goes right here. So let's see if we can get a light in there so you can see where we're at. Now, I already took this piece here off. It actually goes right there. So take that off, and then I don't know if you can really see this or not. It's really difficult to see with doing it with the camera, I guess, but right there is your light. If I can get the camera situated here to where it can actually see right there. So you're doing this blind. So we're going to do this blind. All we're going to do is just stick our hand in here and feel around for it and twist it counterclockwise. Actually, this one went clockwise. Usually counterclockwise. One thing I would say to do is do not touch the bulb itself. Your new one anyway. The old one doesn't really matter so much. But the new one, you don't want to touch the bulb. The greases from your hand will possibly cause... And most of the time I would wear gloves doing this just so I don't touch the bulb, but this one seems to be a pretty simple one, it looks like. So it should be as easy as they say, right? If you could see this, it would be as easy as they say. It would be simple, but where you can't see and you're just blind, it's just difficult sometimes. Okay. It just goes back on that way. Now let's see if it comes on. We're at 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes here, so let's... All right. We're at 10 minutes and 13 seconds, so here in just a moment, when we get to 10:30, I'm going to turn it off without pulling the key and turn it back. So right there, we're at 10:30. Pull it back and back on. Start your timer again. We're going to go 10:30 for a second time. And while we're here, let's just turn the lights on. And do we have both lights? Let's see. Yes, we do. We have both lights. Let's come around here in the dirty garage here and see we got both lights on. So that one was very easy. All right, and while we're waiting on the second 10.5 minutes for our key fob, let's take a look at what we need to do to replace our latch device here. Actually, we're not replacing our latch, we're only going to replace the push button. I've never had a car that didn't have a key back here. They've always had a key, or, well, I can't say that. Our Suburban doesn't have a key back here either. It just has the latch as well, but it's the first car that I've owned for a long time. So you open up your trunk, and let's reposition this camera here real quick so maybe we can see a little bit of something. All right, hopefully you guys can see this okay. The first thing that you're going to need is to remove this plastic piece. You're going to need a small screwdriver or something to pop all these little plastic pieces out with. Nothing major. And then you're going to need a 10mm socket to get a couple of bolts out. And what I do is grab something like this, just a little bin to put everything in so I don't lose parts and pieces, because you're going to have a lot of little parts and little things here. Now, something that I will say, because I already checked this out once, what we done was it wasn't working at all. We had to crawl back in here, and you just saw where I just opened it up, so you're probably thinking, hey, that works. Yes, it works right now, but what we found was that the button had completely corroded. My son does electronics, and so what we had to do was I give it over to him, like, hey, can you just take this apart, take a look at it and see what's going on with it. It was so corroded up that there wasn't anything to solder to. The pins were completely gone. So he went ahead and cleaned up the best he could, soldered it where it needed to go, got it working for me, and said, you might want to go ahead and buy a new one. So that's what I done. So when I took this off, you really have to watch this thing. I had my fingers up underneath of it, and I just about ripped my fingernail off. So when you take this piece off, you may want to just grab a hold of it, and if you can't get it that way, stick your screwdriver up underneath and see if you can pry, because you don't want to rip your fingernail off like I about did. There, comes right off. So you can see, let me get this light. See those little tabs right there? That's what I about ripped my fingernail off, not finger, but about ripped my fingernail off on that little tiny tab. So you want to watch that when you take that off for the first time. Now with these things, you just want to find where there's like a little spot, and just stick your driver in there and pull on it. And usually they're going to come out in, most of the time they're going to come out in two separate pieces. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll put it in front of my face, but it'll come out like this, and it leaves the other piece in. So then you can pull it out, and that's what it looks like. So when this piece goes in, it locks it in place. Sometimes the whole entire thing will come out together. Other times they come out in two pieces. All right, we are back at our 10-minute mark. All right, we're at 10 minutes and 13 seconds right now. So let's wait till we get to 10:30. And we're at 10:30. Pull it back off. Back over to start. Not start, but on. And let's start the process all over again. All right, this is our third and final time trying this. Well, that didn't happen on the videos that I watched, so we'll see what happens with this. All right, let's come back to the trunk. All right, I'm gonna skip taking all these loose because you have one here, they're just all over the place. You can just see all of them. You don't really need me to show you. So let's skip to the next part. All right, so once we get all these loose, this piece actually, it's a little bit easier, I think, if we take these completely out. That one's already out, so it doesn't matter. These, they just screw out. That one's already there, so this piece you want to just twist it, and there's a hole right there. It just pops out very, very easily, and that's it. That's how you remove that piece. All right, let me show you what we got in here. Now, right up here, right there is your connection for it. Just going to remove that connection. I don't know if you can see that very well. Again, you're kind of working blind when you do this, so you move that connection. And then you've got nuts right here. You got another over here underneath of these. So we do need to pop these off. Where I've already had them loose, they should be pretty simple, but you can just pop it off with a screwdriver. And right there is one. And there's a second. And I'm going to take this off as well. This one was left on. When we put the trunk piece back on, it'll be just a little bit easier to do with it removed. Alright. Is that loose? All right, once you get all those loose, now you have a couple of tabs, plastic tabs, that you just squeeze. And you may have to get I'm gonna grab a pair of pliers. All right, just a regular pair of needle nose pliers is all that is really needed for this. And just squeeze that plastic tab, and that will pop up. And then squeeze the other one. And there we go. This is your trim, and right up underneath of it, here is your switch. So we're going to replace this. That's it on that. All right, we're coming up on 9 minutes. Okay, we are at 9 minutes and 20 seconds, or 10 minutes and 20 seconds. So at 10:30, this is our third time. For 10:30, turn off, back on, back off, pull the key. Well, that's what they said to do online, on YouTube, and on some other videos. So let's see if it worked. Okay, key still works, but the key wasn't the issue, remember. It was the fob. Fob does not work. So the way that I tried this will not work. So it looks like it's a good possibility that you have to get this key cut. Doing it the way I just done it did not work. So Alright, well anyway, let's get back to the rest of the video. We can see where these fobs are not going to work in that way. I'm going to have to call a locksmith, and if you have a 11 Regal and you're wanting to do the same thing, you may have to call yourself a locksmith. So, that did not work. Okay, so our replacement button. This is probably not factory from GM, I'm sure, but I went with a $10 option. So it just pushes down in. All right, and that is it for that part. So let's go ahead and reinstall this. Now would be a great time, if you haven't already cleaned this part of your car, now's a great time to do that, because it's going to be very dirty up underneath. I already done it, so, but if you are doing this for the first time, you should probably clean your car. Clean that part of your car, because it's going to be filthy. Get these two outsides on first. It doesn't really matter which one you do first. It's just, that's just what I done. One thing that is important is to make sure that you plug your electrical connection back in. When I was testing all this out, I did not plug my electrical connection back in, so I had to crawl back into the trunk to release this, because I just simply forgot. So don't forget. Now, before you tighten everything down, you can go ahead and just try to operate it and make sure that it works, but I'm going to take the chance. Tighten them all back down. Plug in my connector. It works, I can hear it. So, all right, we're good. That's it. Let's go ahead and put everything back together. Putting this back on is just like taking it off. A whole lot easier when these things come off together. Now's a good time to go ahead and pop this back on as well. You want to make sure you put this on after this, because it goes on after it. So that's all it is. It just pops right in place. trunk and let's see what happens with it. Perfect. Alright, the only thing left we have to do is the cabin air filter. So let's hit that next. You have a long extension like this is going to help you out a lot. Let's see, how's this coming out now? Straight out. Feels like there is another bolt somewhere down the bottom. All right, and that is it. There's your light. Disconnect that. So alright, we just laid this down here, so hopefully you can see everything here. It looks like this thing is going to be nasty, I bet you. Yeah. That's bad. That's really bad. Pay attention when you pull this out. Hopefully you can see okay. This is your direction of your airflow. It's going down. So when we put the new one in, we'll make sure our direction is going down. The new one, we'll just slide right in. Hopefully it fits all right. There we go. Notice our airflow is going down, same direction. There's some wiring in here that we want to keep out of the way. I'll pinch it. There we go. Okay. All right. It. Now, see how I get this back up in here. Seems like putting this back together would be more of a two-person job. And then you need to come around that side. It is. Yep. Okay. When you do this, don't close this first. Put this on first. Don't do what I done. I'm gonna pull your trim back so this slides up underneath your trim. There it is. That slides over top of it. Done. Job done. Alright, so since the first one didn't work, we headed over to Walmart to a Key Me, which is not a Walmart brand, but it's just a kiosk. Put my key in, and they sent me a new one, along with this Bluetooth pairing device for the OBD2. And then they also give a QR code here so that you can pair it. So let's go outside and see how this is going to work. All right, so this says we got our new device, and the dog's going to bark and bark and bark. Okay, first it says to find your OBD2 port, and which is right here. Plug that in, it says continue, press the scan. Bluetooth pairing, connected, continue, please wait. Connected, begin programming. Calibrating tool to our vehicle. It never did say to put this in the ignition, so we're just going to wait. Your phone has access to strong cell. On completion of the registration, man, this gives you like a half a second to read what it's saying before it disappears. It's halfway there. Alright, so it says that you have to enter the license plate or the VIN, so I'm going to do the VIN. There's no button here to hit to allow it to work. So I have to enter it manually. So then once you do that, you have to put in your information, what the car is. Buick, Regal, and then the year. course, we don't have the push start option, so this remote procedure is not for the vehicles with the start button, okay? Keep this app open, do not close or switch to other apps during the programming, okay? Continue.
Make sure the ignition is in the off position. For this procedure, you will need a currently programmed key for this vehicle. If you currently do not have any keys that start the engine, then please contact tech support for programming assistance.
Continue.
Turn the ignition 2 clicks forward to the on position using a currently programmed key. Do not start the engine. Wait 5 seconds before clicking continue. Turn ignition off and remove key, then click continue within 5 seconds. Insert the new key and turn the ignition 2 clicks forward to the on position. Do not try to start engine. Wait for 5-10 seconds. The security light should turn off. Then click continue.
There's no
Turn the
security light.
ignition off and remove the new key. Programming steps completed successfully. Reinsert your new key and attempt to start the engine. If you need programming assistance, please use the Contact Tech Support button from the menu.
Key works. Now let's see if everything else does. All right. Trunk pops. This is the most important part to me. I can lock it and walk away. Unlock it, and the alarm does not go off anymore. I wish that little dog would be quiet. It's gonna get on your nerves too. All right, so the key me option was very easy. The other that I was trying to do, it just didn't work. So I had to pay a little bit more, go to the kiosk. Took my working key, but I only had just a key, no fob. Put it in the machine, it scanned it, I give my money, and within 3 days, I got a new fob and a key, and you saw how easy it was to program. So this part, yeah, it was that easy. Alright guys, hope you all enjoyed the video on this 2011 Buick Regal. I'm sure I'll be doing more work to it, more work on other vehicles, so be sure you subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. I'll be doing work on the house, putting a roof on. I got a lot of things I want to do, and so I'm just going to start recording them and see, is it as easy as they say? Is it something you can tackle yourself as a homeowner or a driver, or is it something you want to take to a shop? That's what the channel is going to be about. See you next time. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.